Hey everyone, it's Simon here with a review of Lumini. Lumini for me is the epitome of a hidden gem in gaming. It is a beautiful, satisfying and enchanting flying platform adventure that's available initially on PC and has been for several years, but it's just recently had its console release, which is why I wanted to review it now. I bought it on PC several years ago, but for some reason my PC really struggled to run it for very long before kind of going and crashing. So I was very happy to double dip and buy the game again when it came to PS4, and that's the version you see on your screen. Whilst it's not going to wow you graphically because it's several years old, what it will wow you with is with its style, ambience, and its fluidity, I guess. You play as a collection of birds, and they almost feel like paper cranes as they fly around. They've got that kind of vibe and aesthetic to them. And you're essentially flying through an alien world to kind of go and nest back home or return to your loved ones. It's kind of a little bit unclear from the outset. However, the world around you has been scorched by some kind of event. It could be, to me, it was a statement on global warming because there's all kinds of weather events that are going on and like mutated animals that are going to be your enemies to try and avoid or conquer. And the birds that you start off with will then start multiplying into different types of birds, and you'll eventually have a like colony kind of flying around with you. I should have... is it a murder of crows? Well, I don't know quite what a murder of birds would be. I should have Googled that before this review. But that's essentially what you'll have. And there are 4 types of them. Different colours, and each one will have its own unique abilities. So the yellow ones create static electricity, which can blast open doors, essentially, or very rickety walls. The blue ones can sprint faster than anyone else. The red ones are more aggressive, so they can be used good for defence. And you'll use the face buttons on the controls to kind of just change the order of your birds so that the one that you're wanting to control and use that skill at the most goes to the forefront. That becomes a bit of a weird tactic in a way, because as you fly through the levels, sometimes actually flying away is your only and best option. But only if you've got the birds that you really need at the front. So say if you've used your red bird and gone in for an attack and it's gone horribly wrong and there's too many of them and you need to get out. When the enemies go to get you, they'll hit the birds wherever they are in like your line of fire. So if they're going to chomp at the back and you've left your blue sprinters at the back, you might find all your blue sprinters have been eaten and killed, and then you don't have the ability to sprint anymore, and then that's going to put you in more trouble. So it's a strange tactic to have, but it works really, really well. Thankfully, your birds get replenished whenever you get to a checkpoint, and that's very helpful. But there are trophies and achievements locked to trying to save as many of your blue birds as possible, or your original blue bird at least. The game itself is really, really satisfying to play, and the way it racked me for quite a long time to work out why it's so satisfying, and then it dawned on me that it's the gracefulness of how the birds move. There's a real fluidity and, I need a better word, but I'm going to say circularity. There's no zigzags, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And if you want to move something around, you can kind of, a bit like how Flower worked when you used to kind of use the DualShock 4 6-axis controls to kind of float around all of the flowers, and you could kind of turn around and see like this whoosh, and it was like you were carving magic in the air. The birds act in the same way. They're never janky, they feel satisfying, they feel malleable, they feel like they're in a real atmospheric experience, or environment, sorry, because you can like tangibly feel that they're moving in air, and that it's there's grace in the way how they move. That coupled with the graphics, which whilst they aren't going to blow your socks off because they're several years old, it creates a really nice alien world with animals kind of wandering around in the background when you get outside of the caves. There's a beautiful atmosphere in terms of the music and sound design as well. It all comes together to make this crossover between a really relaxing game, but also quite a mysterious one. And so I think it's gonna... this game, Lumini, has an appeal that I think will appeal to the gamers who love a relaxing game like your Flower, your Abzu, less so maybe your Journeys and so on and so forth. But that kind of, I'll go at my own pace and I'll muck about and I'll eventually get to my objective. But there is proper gameplay going on here too. You're going to have enemies to avoid. You've got timings to deal with trying to get round certain puzzles in time. You also have the ability to split your birds up, and you'll need to do it quite a lot from mid-game onwards, into different groups, because actually the game, whilst it's puzzle light, there are plenty of puzzles involved, and they often involve around putting your birds on pressure pads to open doors so that your second clump of birds can fly through and then keep the other pressure pad open and move around mazes and stuff. It's really well put together. It doesn't tax and make your brain explode, but it does what it does really well without pushing it too far, so that it's accessible for all. The game is quite short, but there are plenty of different extras to unlock through finding hidden away collectibles, and that will give you a little bit of replayability to try and get all of those through the level select screens as you go. But really, this is one of those games that has not had nearly as enough of a fanfare as what I feel like it deserves. Whenever I pick up this game and play it, I get instantly pulled into the world that it inhabits. I find the birds and the way how they move and the gameplay around them deeply satisfying and enjoyable. And whilst, yes, it is a relaxing experience, my brain is switched on too, so it feels like I'm really participating in a full-on game as well. Lumini is out now. There'll be a written review over on higherplanegames.com, and if you've got any comments or questions, please do leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you on them. But yeah, this is a true hidden gem, and I give it definitely a Smithy certified rating. Thanks, bye-bye. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share, or a pledge. Thanks for watching.